beloved presence in which I live and I move and I have my being. The only speaker here, the only listener here, the only reality here is originating cause that brought me, that brought you, that brought us into being, here to be, here to open to being the emissaries of that presence. So let every word and every thought that flows through in this moment in time together be reflective of that truth. May every word, may every thought impact everything and everyone from the dawn of my conception in the reality there is no time, to this present moment in the illusion of time. That everyone in darkness and light, in every journey, in every experience, in every infinite possibilities of life that has been for me, through me, as that presence. Let the vibration and the impact of these words be in absolute, unconditional love for everyone I have known at any point, at any time. And the value and remembrance, I am here because of all of you, this very moment. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I. Be still and know that. Be still and know. Be still. Be. Good morning. I'm Charles. I want to honor time profoundly here and lunch. But I want to share as deeply as I can in this gift of time that I've been given. And to share with you the journey of 50 years of ministry, the journey of 80 years of landing on planet Earth. And, this is, we land on Earth. I know we come through a birth canal, but, it's Earth landing day, birthdays, and to remember that. And there was a point in time, and particularly as that inner child within me that was so in remembrance of from whence I came, because I always had memories of existing before. I was gifted with that. But then it was kind of a journey of crash landing into the reality of Earth, and moments and times when I thought, oh my God, what was I thinking before I came? What possessed me to say, yes, I'll land here? Well, what possessed me was love, because love is our origin, and love is the only thing that moves us through, and love is what calls us home. And I want to share with you this morning in two parts. First, that it was very clear to me a couple of years ago that I was complete with center ministry and ministry as I've known it and experienced, and that whatever was to be the rest of my life had to be something of a deeper reality of my own beingness, of my own beingness. And the journey of ministry, and for many, becomes so much about doing and not necessarily being. And the importance of remembering that, the importance of coming to awareness that, it's not about your to-do list. It is about being, simply being. And when you're true to opening to what it is that you genuinely, authentically want to be, then it is amazing how sequentially and divinely things fall into place that are really yours to do. And 2 years ago, when I made my decision to move to Montana, it was a soulful thing. It was a soulful call to return to the mountains, which is where I landed in Denver, Colorado, when I was born at 6:37 a.m., September 7th, 1941. And that the mountains called me because my future chapters are really about my deepening and opening to something greater and more than I've ever known. So the best is yet before me, and the best is yet before all of you at whatever point or whatever time. That's the truth that you want to live from. And I certainly don't count years, but I suddenly realized, wow, it's pretty cool being 80. Because I can look back and realize some of the darkest nights of my soul. And here I am. Oh my gosh, here I am before you. And there were all sorts of reasons 2 years ago that it was like insanity, that you're going to do this. You've got such a cozy group of people around you. You've got such a beautiful space and home, but I had no money or savings to make a quantum move, and back 2 years ago, I was still at that age, like looking at income, and I have so let go of that. Oh my God, like it took 78 years to finally get, because my angels, they kind of slapped me in the face with their wings. Because when I was giving all this, oh my God, how can I do this? And I don't want to do ministry anymore as I've done it. And what will I do? And all they said is, Charles, get over it, will you? Will you just let go? Don't you know the universe has your back, and all the angels that have ever been with you, seen and unseen, are going forth and preparing the way for you to make this change. And I went forth and said, yes, I can. And I no longer look at income. I look at grace as the continuity and the flow of everything I need as I need it, when I need it, how I need it. Thank you very much. I live in the flow of grace, in the continuity deeper than I have ever in my whole life. And then the journey of, as it was unfolding, what am I going to be doing? And the angels, Charles, we will reveal that. When you're ready, we'll show it. And what happens 2020? And COVID, and Black Lives Matter, and the overwhelming, bruising heart to realize, oh my God, what have we done in our collective consciousness of not addressing the deeper realities of causation, the deeper realities that when you do not deal with and work with that inner work of your soul, that we are contributing to that world consciousness that we make all the judgments about, and we're all some part of it, and we need to own it. And that anger and emotions that you don't confront and work with and deal with become rage and become hatred and become divisiveness and become the very root of everything that keeps us locked into the old paradigm, separation, being and believing that we're separate entities, and that is such a lie. There are no others. There's no others out there. There's just us. All of nature knows that. All of nature knows that. The very reality of Mother Earth knows that. It's just us. It's just creation. It's just us out of that imagining of the one. So I decided to put forth the principles that I know have saved me, literally, have reawakened me profoundly to my awareness of what these 50 years have been. And the first principle is free others to be where they are and not where you want them to be. Oh, wow. What a novel thought. But it's a deep one, because we become so identified in roles and how we identify ourselves in those roles, and a lot of those roles are rooted in taking care of everyone else except you. and just really breathe that in at times, because I've lived the role of an uncle, because in my 20s, my sister divorced and she had 4 girls that really became my daughters. And so my 20s was all about them. And then it came for almost 50 years more that I was the great uncle and the great great uncle, and that the great uncle was always there. And that became so ingrained in me, but I finally let go of that, because I realized how vital it is to remember that you cannot grow or evolve for anyone else. You cannot grow or evolve for your children, for anyone else around you. You cannot grow or evolve for anyone that is in your attendees and people that come to you for coaching and all of that. All you can do is, in the name of my new nonprofit, mind your own becoming. Mind your own being. Take hold and go deeper into what is yours to be. And leading into that second principle, be aware of what is yours to carry and what is yours to free. Be aware of what is yours to carry and what is yours to free. Wow, when you give yourself the liberty of taking a look at that and recognizing, I don't need to do this. This isn't mine to do. What is mine? What is mine to be? That's always the inquiry. Not what do I do next, but what do I want to feel? What do I want to be? When you are doing your deeper visioning, when you're doing your deeper awareness of holiness and communion and the divine within you. It is not about, God, what do I do? It's, what did I come here to be? What feels when I'm being that, when I'm allowing that to come through me? What is the artist in me want to be? And you know, it doesn't necessarily mean the arts themselves. It means what's true for you to be authentically and genuinely you, that feels so wonderful in what you are being. And that you learn out of that being how to do it really well. Because you put it into practice, you put it into the consistency of just being what you can do that enriches you and therefore just spreads out and fills the space around you and becomes an energy field that people feel, that people are drawn to, that people love. I love this from Rumi. I want to sing like the birds sing, not worrying who listens or what they think. And I most definitely, oh my God, yeah, you don't want me to sing. But at this point, I don't worry about what you think about it. It's all about that feeling that comes inside you that, oh my God, I'm finally comfortable in my own skin. Ah, what a revelation. And that no one else completes me. This is a done job here. This is as good as it's going to get. I am complete, and I am whole. And because I know that on a deeper level than ever, I have nothing to prove. You know, ministry was a calling for me, and I went into it, but rooted in so many reasons that were so lies, because I felt I was such an abhorrent mistake. And my complexity of, and I love gender rich, my complexity of gender richness was also placing me in such darkness and such torment and such condemnation. And so I moved into ministry on many levels, believing that if I did enough good, that I could make up for that somehow I would do that. And no, that doesn't work. Now I can laugh about it. When you come to that realization, you have nothing to prove. You have only to be. You have only to be as genuinely truthful and real as you can, above all for you. So that now when I look in the mirror, it's not flashes of, oh, Charles. Many years ago, and very quickly, not as a story, but just as a moment flash, on one late rainy night when I shouldn't have been out and had gone to a bar and I knew that I shouldn't have gone, and I was attacked by 4 men and with a pipe and left in the street. And I'm obviously here. I pulled myself up from that. But the next day, I mean, I was beaten really pretty badly. And when I looked in the mirror, it's like my angels. It was, Charles, what aren't you facing? What aren't you facing? What a graphic image that was in that moment to realize, oh my God. And you know, the first thing that, and this is true, when that was happening, it was like, okay, I'm not going home this way. I'm not being called out this way. And it's like, no, that's not going to happen. And it was also the immediate, once I went through the shock of everything, oh, I want to pray for those men. I just want them to know that they find their way into the light and into remembrance of who they are, so that they will not, with whatever they've not dealt with and not confronted, that they will not be doing that to anyone else. And that's the universal prayer, because the rage and the hatred and the violence we see is rooted in what hasn't been confronted, what hasn't been dealt with. So that really brings to remember, forgiveness is an ongoing journey of freedom for you. Forgiveness is an ongoing journey of freedom for you. And as Reverend Jerry so beautifully, eloquently shares from what he's processed, that it's not an event, it's an ongoing process. And whatever level you are at it, that's fine. To just continue to be working on, because realize that the more freedom you give yourself in not being charged as profoundly and emotionally to an event or a situation in the past, then the greater freedom that you have to, and the greater courage you have to do that inner work. And I do practice Ho'oponopono, that wonderful Polynesian origin practice of, and Dr. Hugh Lin, and check it out on the web, Ho'oponopono, but that the four simple mantras of, and I wake up in the night and I do this, and I did it before this morning. I love you. And I love you. Unconditionally, I love you. Forgive me for all the condemnation, for all the judgment that I've placed on myself, that put me in such darkness, in moments that I was blocking the ever-present light and truth and freedom. Forgive me. I'm sorry for everything that I've said against me, for everything that I've so taken in. I'm sorry. I hurt you. And thank you. Oh, thank you for the grace in my life, for the love in my life, for the wonder of my life. Thank you. And this beautiful quote from Mark Twain: forgiveness is the fragrance that the violet shares on the heel that has crushed it. Wow. It's true. It's so incredible what forgiveness does. Now, never give up, but be willing to step back. and I love the Reverend Jerry that, when you lose a job or something happens that is like, oh my God, and oh my God, like, oh my, like, oh my God, life. It's just the stuff that happens and that you have to let go. But I'm not speaking about that. I'm speaking about being. And when something comes into your heart and into your soul, and you know with every fiber and atom of your being, yes, this I am supposed to be. I'm supposed to be this. I'm supposed to move with this. Don't ever give up on it. But be willing, because there's detours, be willing to step back and realign. I originally thought I was going to Bozeman. That's what I thought originally. And the 2-year journey and working with a group of people in Helena, Montana, Helena Center for Spiritual Living, and helping them envisioning their new leadership, which I didn't take on because I was clear that's not mine. But I also knew that, oh my God, what's happening here? There's so many beautiful people, and they were all, it was so funny, they were all praying in advance that I would get, that I was supposed to be in Helena. Little manipulation prayer-wise, it was like, we'll show him. He's not going to Bozeman. But Holy Spirit opened a family for me there and brought me to the realization of that, again, power of grace and the continuity of it. Oh. Okay. Because this is part one, and I can zip into part two and have that be really the potency of what I want to share with you. But there's 2 choices in life. Don't you love it when you can make it so simple? Like, really, it's not that complex? And don't you get everything that's been shared here from the depth of everyone that is offered? That let's keep it simple. Let's keep it pure. So you have 2 choices, better or bitter. And better makes you laugh a lot. And better makes you smile a lot. And better shows on your face. And, bitter shows on your face too. Bitter shows on your face. When you're giving praise the Lord, because the Lord is the law of our being. And what we ignite into the law of cause and effect and everything that comes into being as a result of it. Praise that which lifts you up. Praise that which speaks to you, that ignites your soul to rise you to higher ground and to see the blessings and to be in consistency of gratitude. Before you go to sleep at night, constantly, gratitude, thank you. Wake up in the morning, thank you. Thank you for this day. Let me be in this day the deepest emissary of love that I can be. Well, all of this led to the reality of my purpose in 2020. And again, the depth of, okay, I know that I want to contribute something that can be the means and way in which we come together to have dialogue that we've stayed away from, and that we've been, in whatever words we want to define the reason why not, it's no longer, we can't reason it anymore because it's insanity to see the continuity of the rage and the hate and the divisiveness that's in our world, and to know that unknowingly I need to own my part in having contributed to that. I need to take a deeper look at my own deep awareness that can come when I open to see and understand what I didn't know as deeply as I can understand now, and open to the realization that when I hear someone else's journey and what they've walked through, what they've moved through, and begin to get, oh my God, you know what? White privilege is a really real thing. And white supremacy is a really real thing. And that we can no longer have a world in which any one race, any one belief, any one thing says we are it. Because no one is it. No thing is it. It is all of us together, rising in a new awareness that the only way that we will see a new world visioning, a new world coming forth for the generations to come. Our ancestors are rooting us on to mind our own becoming and see things in new perspective and new awareness of ourselves and of one another. And this is what Mind Your Own Being is about. It only occurs when we have had enough of what we see around us. The greatest changes historically have been when, as a society, we can no longer process the pain and inequities we see. When we are open to confront, no matter how uncomfortable, our own inherent racism and entitlements based on a sense of superiority, gender or ethnic prejudices, and be accountable for the thoughts we carry, healing and new understanding can emerge only when we can authentically begin to bring about a world vision of love and regard for everyone without exception. And this is a multi-generational call to action. And it is one that I pray we all rise to the occasion, that we rise to the moment. I'm thrilled to see Anton and the speakers that we have next year, because it is all about that. And my Mind Your Own Becoming, oh my God, I can't tell you how profoundly incredible it is and what's happening. And I've drawn a new board member that I met at the Big Sky Retreat that is from the University of Illinois. And you know, when you pray for the support and what you need and the things that you feel yourself, gosh, how am I going to do this? But you put it out to the universe, and when it's a pure intention, when it's a pure thing of your soul, and you know, this is what I'm called to be now, and that the ways, the means, the how will be revealed. And this wonderful man he's involved deeply with the University of Illinois. He travels all over the world, and he's a black man. I went up to him because he was a newcomer at Big Sky and said, "Oh, tell me about yourself." And he said, "Well, you know, I work for the University of Illinois." He said, "I'm also very involved in the reality of equality and racism and bringing communities together to be in dialogue." And I said, "Oh my God," I said, "would you by any chance be willing to take a look at my website?" And I told him the theme. This is the theme that's on our website. We stand for all lives that have not mattered because love wins. We stand for all lives that have not mattered because love wins. And hearing the stories of those lives and coming together to realize and have greater compassion and love for one another on the deepest levels we ever have as humanity. We are in a shift that is moving us out of the shit. And all of that has existed because we haven't addressed for centuries upon centuries upon centuries and everything. Now, humanity must redefine itself and reawaken to it's us together. And he took a look at my website that very night and came to me the next day and he said, Charles, do you realize those principles are really something? He said, do you know what you have there? Well, I have what my soul said these 50 years have been about. He said, what you have there is not only what for individuals, it's for communities. He said, I even see it as for corporations, that there's a way and means that we can all come together. And he said, that's not about religion. He said, that's about how we live our lives together and how we can together come in a new awareness of respect and regard and care for one another. And that's the reality of that. When we do that deeper work and work upon ourselves, then we are to come to a place that we have new consciousness about not only our being, because Mind Your Own Becoming is ultimately about just being true and authentic to you. But here's the values that emerge and that are a part of what we're working with Mind Your Own Becoming, to see greater possibilities in an evolving humanity, to clear the inner prejudices and judgments we hold that stand in the way of individual and collective healing, to open our eyes and to listen compassionately, to open minds to new visions of equality, love, and prosperity for all without exception, and to build bridges heart to heart through how we reach out and connect to one another. That's our values. And I want to share with you that my journey cross country, 4,000 miles, that took 2 years. No, it didn't take two years to drive 4,000 miles, no. But that the fact that this vision, this revelation occurred in 2019 at Big Sky. And please take a look at Big Sky, bigskyretreat.com, 45 years, the oldest metaphysical retreat ongoing in the world. And that I was back there at the beginning. But that I really didn't know where I was going to land in the sense of a new home space. But it was clear that it wasn't going to be Bozeman, because taking a look at Bozeman and the impact of COVID, and the rental rates in Bozeman had just raised 3-4 times higher than they were a couple years ago. It was like, well, that's not practical. It wasn't about, oh man, I can't afford that. It's like, that's not wisdom. And in the meantime, the president of the Hellenist Center, Dr. Deb Jacobson, has a beautiful property in Clancy. Now, Clancy is a thriving little metropolis of 1 square block. And it has a post office, and it has a general store that I've never seen it open. And of course, it's got a bar, and then it has a beauty salon. Wow. I mean, what more do you need? But she has a beautiful property that is about 2-3 miles off the highway in the mountains. And she has a one-bedroom basement apartment there that she had mentioned. And I thought, well, you know what? I can stay there a week or two until I find a place in Helena. So that was my thought. And when I drove up to the property, first of all, it took my breath away because it was so beautiful. 360 degrees of mountains all around me. And of all things, a stream right below it. And a true confession here, from my early 30s, I used, and up until just a couple, 3 years ago, I would lay in streams. I would go and lay in the streams and just feel the potency of the Holy Spirit and the energy and the cleansing of laying in those mountain streams. Just, oh my God. And oh yeah, okay, I got it. The only direction is forward. And when I stay in the currency of the stream, I'm in the currency of the moment, and I'm beholding the now in an ever-glorious, changing reality before me. Oh, wow. That's the streams. And so I was showed the one-bedroom apartment, and when I first saw it, Deb had an appointment in town, so another dear friend, Rosie, showed me. And when I first looked at it, because it was like kind of really very bare, except for a cot. And now that cot, there's no way I could describe that to make it like it was lovely and grand. It wasn't. You know, it really sucked. I mean, it was, yeah. And you know, the first night, and it folded up on me like. So the next night, I just put a blanket beside and put the mattress on the floor, and that worked. That was good. But that afternoon, when I was sitting in that basement apartment alone, and okay, it's not vast, but let me tell you something that I think is so important. It wasn't about the space, it was about, oh my God, I could do this, I could do that. There was a gorgeous fireplace, magnificent fireplace. The bedroom is really large, I think, and there's a whole window across the bedroom that the forest's coming in. It's beautiful. And there's a window in the living room and a glorious kitchen with a great counter and a brand new stove and a brand new refrigerator and a really cool bathroom and like this has a garage and it has a washer and dryer, and it's like, Charles, what's wrong with you? And I went down to the stream, and this is so. I went down to the stream that afternoon. And I sat by it to just breathe in all those 2 years and letting go of Bridges Spiritual Centers and all my friends and everything I knew there, because it was complete. Friendship never ends, but my time there was. And I'm sitting and I'm feeling all my ancestors and my angels. Charles, don't you see? We've brought you home. Grace has brought you home. This is home. And so I knew I was supposed to be there. And I went up that afternoon to Deb, and I said, how would it be if I stayed here? And she said, Charles, here's what I'd like to offer you. She said, your first month here, please, nothing. And then she gave me a ridiculous rent price. I mean, really, like, oh my God. She said, would that be okay? No, could you make it a little lower? So I have fixed this up to be such a reflection of spaciousness, and of that only love grows here. And, oh my God, and I'm going to complete with this. There's a sweet little dog named Gussie that we're best buds. And Tabby the cat, that absolutely, when I'm loving Gussie, Tabby comes over and says, you know, me too. And then this beautiful horse, and the owner told me about this horse, Winnie, and that about a year ago, Winnie lost her best friend that was called home, and they were great companions. And Winnie grieved for 6 months. And when I heard that, the reality of, you know, we're all in this together, and we all grieve, and the nature and everything, we're all in this together. We're created out of love. And love is the only thing I can guarantee. You know, I can't prove God. Oh, God. How the heck can you do that? But I can prove and evidence love. And that's as close as I'm going to get to evidencing God. But I've had communion talks with Winnie. And it's sacred. And I go and I brush Winnie and clear all the burrs off of her mane and her legs and give her treats. And we just commune. And it's so incredible when a horse is like really nudging against you. And of course, looking for treats in the pockets. Winnie, I don't have any more treats. You know, but still, it's just that connection, that love. So I want to close just with this. Oh, I want you all to be in remembrance that you're here to reawaken. You're here to uncover. You know, David Alt was our guest speaker at Big Sky, and I loved how he redefined the words discovery. He said, it's really about uncovering what's already there. It's not about discovering something new. And that it's really not about awakening, it's about reawakening, it's about remembrance. It's remembrance of from whence I came. So I want to close with a prayer. So if you'll join me. Beloved presence, I speak this word from the depth of my soul, knowing the power and the might of the word, and that once that word is uttered out of prayerful mode, out of that communion mode, out of that reflection mode, out of that listening mode to the potency and the power of that holy essence in all of us. Be still and know that I am God. When I open to and listen to and draw from and commune with that presence and speak this word as I am now, that it is a word of power and it knows exactly where to go, how to go, what to be, what to do in every sense, in every way, and that it is once uttered there, now, for all eternity. And I am knowing this, that we are in a new evolution of humanity, that we are rising to the realization that we are here on this planet to be the stewards of this planet and to provide for the generations to come a world of reawakened souls coming in to be a part of the reality of I and you and me and we in thee and we in as that one together. And that equal measure of love without exception everywhere, omnipresent, equal measure of love as the sun rises upon the earth every day and glorifies it with its rays and its means and its ways to grow and nurture the earth on the deepest levels, as Mother Nature knows exactly how to do it, and perfectly and magnificently, that we, in this new defining of humanity, reawaken, that we are emissaries of this originating cause. We are emissaries together for every generation, for new and old, and the soul never ages. The soul is the eternal vessel of the Holy One, so that we all come into a new reality, not only of minding our own becoming, but ultimately simply being that ray of the sun upon one another, being that nurturing for one another, not in rescuing, but in simply reminding everyone of the artist in you, the artist in me, and we're only here for one eternal cause, to be. And so it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Charles. That was wonderful. Can Mary Beth say something? Of course.
Oh. I was plugging, and in the meantime, I didn't plug it in. It's, okay, myobincorporated.org. So and it's actually on the program. So myobincorporated.org. And Thursday nights, 5 p.m. Mountain Time, 1 hour every week, where we are bringing in new people and new stories. And on November 4th, we're introducing our new board member, Dr. Lim Watson. Every Thursday, 5 p.m. And oh my God, what I love, all you have to do is subscribe. I would be so thrilled.
It is lunchtime. By the time we get over there, there will be a sign-up sheet where you can indicate if you need a boxed lunch to go tomorrow. So once Martha Creek and I find a piece of paper, there will be a sign-up sheet. If you would like to have a lunch to take with you tomorrow, make sure you get your name on it during lunch today.